100 knots.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cancun International Airport, and today we'll be doing a flight over to Charlotte International Airport in North Carolina. And this will be an American Airlines flight number 886, and it'll be about 3 hours up north, and this will be in the JARDesign A330-200. If you can tell from the title, we got the Soundpack by BlueSkyStar, the Trent700 for the JARDesign A330, and it made quite a difference, and this is going to be the first flight. I'll be hearing it for the first time along with you, and yeah, we're just gonna get the cargo loaded up here. We're using Ground Handling Deluxe here, and yeah, we'll get the cargo on the plane, and we'll be on our way over to Charlotte. Now, this is SkyVector.com. It's a free website, and I'm using it to map out the route to show you the way we'll be going. So we'll be leaving Cancun. It'll put us on the UM219 airway, and then we'll be taking that up. So a lot of this flight will just be mainly ocean. We're going to have a lot of cloud coverage anyway, so we're not going to really see the land, even if we wanted to. But in this case, just water. And then, yeah, this is going to be the way we'll be taking up through Charlotte. So if you wanted to follow along with this route, this is the route that we'll be doing. And as always, SkyVector's a neat tool to see the charts and, you know, just figure out where you're going. So we have the tug arriving here. We're going to hook up and we'll be doing our pushback here soon.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Park brake off.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, so the tug is starting to push us back. We're going to wait to start the engines until the pushback is complete, or at least that we're pushed away from the terminal here. And we get to hear a little bit of that sound pack. Now, so far it changes the switches. The APU sounds a lot better. And yeah, so far I'm really liking this sound pack. This aircraft is one where it kind of needs it, because the original sounds were there. It's not just that they weren't very good, they were kind of annoying to hear, and this kind of gives the aircraft a little more character. And again, it's by BlueSkyStar. It's the Trent700 pack. I believe there's another one out there too. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but this is the one I went with. I think it's the latest one, and I couldn't find too much information on it about how it was done. The only demo I found, it just briefly looking, had music playing over it, and you know, that was kind of hard to hear the sounds. So I kind of took a gamble and got it, and you know, so far I'm pretty impressed with it. So we're gonna go ahead and start the number 1 engine.
Starting engine 1.
Alright, we're going to start the number 2 engine.
engine 2.
Now I've noticed the sounds sound a lot better up front than they do in the back. If you go to the back, closer to the engines, you actually can't really hear them. So the sound difference isn't really there. Sounds pretty good from the outside, but yeah, when you're right up against the engine like this, you can't really hear it. It sounds better in the cockpit. And I haven't really adjusted the sounds. They don't recommend that you adjust them, so I've left them pretty much where they are.
Flaps 1.
With the engines running, we'll
Spoilers armed.
make sure our flaps are set. Get the brake set to maximum and the spoilers armed. And then we'll come up and turn the runway turn off lights on and the taxi light. Then we can turn the APU off now that the engines are started. And with that, we can pretty much get going. We're going to start out on Delta 1, and then we'll carry on the rest of the way on Alpha for 1-2 right. That'll be our departure runway today, and remember it'll be the Rot G1 departure. So we can get the parking brake off and get on out of the terminal here. Now this airport is done by FSimstudios. It's the Cancun International Airport, and they do a lot of the surrounding area too. And the detail is pretty nice. The performance is really good. I was kind of worried about that when getting to some of these airports. Sometimes it can really hurt the performance, but I really haven't noticed a difference through having it as a vanilla airport. You know, as in default, no changes. Then updating to this one, I really don't see any difference in performance, so that's always nice to have. So if you do plan on picking this up, just know that it does come with some good performance. I'd say my only complaint about it in looking around is the grass in the grassy areas there. The grass that sticks up is kind of an eyesore. It's kind of a cheap way of doing it, but that's my only thing really with the airport that kind of I would complain about, but still not really too big of an issue. Overall, this airport is great. That's just the only thing. As you can see it here, off to our left here. When you get really up close to it, even far away, it just kind of looks tacky. But yeah, it's nice. You see the Corona Tower and all. It's really cool to see. And this is one of the big tourist places to go on vacation. So we're probably taking a group of passengers back to North Carolina after vacationing here. It's pretty cloudy. We got a lot of clouds, like I said, on this trip today. And doing it in the JARDesign A330. And I think this is actually the first time we've done a full flight with this aircraft on the channel, as far as an A330 goes. And it's done in the JARDesign one. This is an aircraft that they keep updating, and I do actually really like it. I think it's developed into a pretty nice aircraft, and fun to fly for right now. We don't, the only A330 really we have. Aerosoft should be releasing theirs soon, I believe. It's November 2019 right now, so in December 2019, I think they're looking at releasing it then, so that'll be nice to try. I've always enjoyed Aerosoft's virtual cockpit. They've always had great models. Even the exterior model always looks nice on Aerosoft stuff, so that'll be fun to try out. I believe I'll be doing a first look on the FSElite channel, so look out for that, and then probably fly it around on the Flight Sim Deck channel. So be on the lookout for that soon. But yeah, I'd like to get more A320 stuff, or just Airbus in general on the channel. I used to do a lot of it with the Aerosoft, a couple of Flight Sim Labs videos, But yeah, getting into this one more, I like this aircraft more now, and especially with the sounds. And we'll get to hear that soon here on the rollout. I have a feeling that's probably going to be the most exciting sounds in the pack will be for what you hear when you're taking off. Alright, so we finished our taxi route pretty easy, just a straight shot down from the terminal. And now we're coming up on 1-2 right. And we'll be holding short right at the hold short line. And getting the aircraft prepared for the takeoff. Right here at Charlie 9. That's where we're pulling up to now. Looks like we have some storms moving in the distance, but yeah, we'll be out of here before those are a problem. Alright, so we want our transponder on. We already got our squawk code in there. And this time we can turn on the landing lights and the strobe light, wing light. If I didn't mention it, we're going up to 39,000 feet. We don't have any controllers on, so we just have it plugged into the we'll turn our terrain radar on. And we'll start moving onto the runway now.
Approaching 1-2 right.
So yeah, next flight, be it a live stream or a regular video, maybe we'll have to do a flight into Cancun. Because like I said, the performance is good, and that always really helps when you're especially doing a landing. You want all the performance you can get so you can really get in there with the controls and fine-tune your landing. So to line up, we'll overshoot the line just a bit to get it right on the center line.
On runway 1-2 right.
Hold here just for a moment. I want to test the flight controls. I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten to unplug my yoke, and you go to rotate and it doesn't work because it'll prioritize the yoke over the flight stick for whatever reason. So always good to test that. Alright, we're rolling. We got flex temp 45 degrees.
Power set.
Speed 1.
rotate. Positive climb. Gear up.
Alright, we're on our way, flying out of Cancun. And what a difference those sounds really make. Really like the sound of that on rollout. It really gives the plane a whole different attitude, a whole different mood when you hear those sounds. And I'm not too in tune with, you know, the actual Airbus sounds. But I know these are better. These sound meaner and more just a much better sound. Even with the you know, the cracks on the runway there, and you can almost feel it. And that's what I got out of the FSLabs A320 as well. When I first heard the sounds with those were some of the best sounds I had heard in any aircraft at the time when those came out for me. And it really changes an aircraft, just the sound. So we're gonna hand fly just a bit, not too much longer. We're getting into these clouds. It's gonna get a little bit choppy. So just to stay on path, we'll get the autopilot on in just a moment.
Autopilot 1, cross-check. Flaps 0. Spoilers disarmed.
Alright, so we're climbing, got the altimeter already on our standard mode, and we'll be passing 10,000 feet here soon. So we're going to go ahead and turn the landing lights off and runway turn off lights. And we still have a lot of clouds to go through. This might be one of the thickest cloud layers I've ever gone through, or that I remember going through in a while, because it is just not ending. But like I said earlier, we're not missing much. Really nothing but ocean on this trip, and clouds are going to cover a lot of that, pretty much all the way to Charlotte. Right now we're still going through them. We just got in between layers, but we're about to hit another layer up above us. And going to be going to 390 for our flight level today. Now this flight, if I didn't mention, it's about 3 hours, so it's a shorter Airbus flight. And there's a whole bunch of short Airbus flights out there that American Airlines do, and a lot of the Middle Eastern airlines, and also a bunch of them through Asia, use the A330 for some shorter hops. Some of them an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours. Just depends. If it's a popular route, then they'll use this aircraft. It's a medium range aircraft. I mean, you can use this for long range. They use it for flights that are 10, 11, 12 hours long. Just depends. This is the aircraft I flew on when traveling from San Francisco over to Europe for Cosford. I was on an A330. That's a pretty long flight. About 10 hours there, 11 hours back. So it can be used for long hauls, and I guess if you have enough people for the route, you can use it for the shorter stuff too. But that's mainly what I've been interested in, especially for videos for this channel, is to do some of the shorter routes. And I've been finding a bunch in the US for American Airlines that I'm interested in doing. And right now we're breaking through that last layer of cloud to get above them. And the effect is pretty cool for the most part. I used to like with Prepared, I believe with one of the Active Sky updates, you could really see as you cut through the clouds heading up. You don't really get that effect too much here. Soon you'll have Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 coming out, and I'm really excited to use that. But I'll be using, I'm not going to cut using X-Plane altogether. There's some aircraft I'll still want to fly on here. So we're reaching our cruise altitude now of 39,000 feet. That's where we'll be leveling off. And, yeah, we're going to be on our way. Alright, so we've reached Florida. Starting to see the land there below. The clouds are also kind of thinning out around here too, but we have more ahead. Most likely going to be an ILS approach into Charlotte today. Man, sped ahead even more. We're about 2 hours and 30 minutes into the flight, and we'll be making our descent now. Got our altitude set to 2,500 feet again. We have no, we're not on VATSIM right now. Typically don't do VATSIM so much for this type of flight, just because of the focus being on filming and occasionally having to do a replay or something. So just makes the filming a little easier to not also worry about that. But sometimes we do it on VATSIM. But you can see the blue line there on our map display, showing us where our top of descent is, and we're going to hit that now. So we'll pull the altitude knob, and it's going to start our descent via the CDU. So as we got above the clouds, now we're going to be going back into the clouds, but nothing rough. No, we shouldn't be getting through any turbulence or anything like that. Got the seatbelt sign back on. I actually remember to turn it off for today's flight when we were at cruise. And for Charlotte, I'm just using the default airport from X-Plane 11. Checked out the free one, but there was a couple things I was missing. I didn't have time to really go in and get the correct library, so I just deleted it, and we're just going to fly the default one, which looks pretty good anyway. So, I had no complaints really using it. Usually the main, bigger main airports already look kind of good anyway. There's been some attention through the X-Plane Scenery Gateway to update it. So that's where we'll be landing. That's our situation there. No payware on that. Just over at Cancun, but there is a free one out there that makes it look a little nicer, which you can get. Alright, so we're shooting our approach now. We're pretty much about 20 miles out from the runway. We're going to be landing on runway 36 right. And just kind of came out of the cloud layer here and getting lined up. There was really nothing to see on the arrival. We were doing the banker arrival, and which we're still kind of on. We're just heading out to the ILS approach, or the portion now, down to 2,500 feet. So sped ahead on a lot of that. A lot of this I don't want to. These videos already end up kind of long, and I don't want to waste anybody's time with really pointless footage here. Kind of want to cut to the exciting stuff. So yeah, we're coming on down nicely. We're still not at on the glide yet. We will be soon. Got the pappy lights out there. Can't really see the runway. It's a little bit hazy out that way right now, but it's sort of coming into sight.
Gear down.
Gonna get our gear down. Actually, we weren't really 20 miles out. We're more like 15 at the point I just mentioned. So gear down, we have our auto brake at medium, and then we're gonna need to put our the brake fan on, and we're already on the approach mode, so we should be heading down the glide now.
Flaps 1.
We're just gonna start slowing our speed, configuring the flaps, slowing down to 170 knots now.
Spoilers armed. Flaps 2.
$1,000.
Flaps 3.
Approaching 36 right.
Alright, the autopilot is off. The aircraft is ours. We'll go sterile cockpit here till we're on the ground.
400.
Land green check.
300 above. Minimum.
Landing.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Put it right down on the money. Got a little bounce out of it though. Centerline, I'll take it though. Still have yet to master the Airbus technique.
4,000
Not
feet
too
remaining.
not too terrible. So we're gonna go down a little farther. We're gonna go
3,000
past
remaining.
the crosswind runway here and exit over there. Terminal's up there. Hoping there isn't too many aircraft over there that aren't supposed to be.
2,000 remaining.
Because as I can see right now, it looks like our gate is already occupied by a aircraft that shouldn't even be there. So now they're off the runway. We're getting our flaps up. Well, let's take a look at the replay.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10,
It's funny how
5.
it's kicking up the dirt there. Yeah, it's a little bit of a bounce. Kind of a soft bounce on the second one. They probably didn't even really feel the second touch.
Hundred above. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. 30, 20, 10, 5.
Alright, so back from the replays. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those. And we're going to try to get to our terminal now. And like I said, right around where these international planes are, that's where we were supposed to be. So we got to go around and probably go take a gate that we wouldn't park at, but that's just how it is. You can either have the parked aircraft on for X-Plane 11 or turn it off, or better yet, there's different add-ons you can get that'll correct the aircraft for the most part of where they're supposed to be at the terminals. But yeah, 3-hour flight done. Getting close to the evening time. In America here, we just set our clocks back an hour, so it's getting dark a little earlier at night now, which is never my favorite time of year. Wish we didn't have to set the clocks back. But we do. Been doing it my whole life, and I think we're getting out of that here soon. Some states don't do it. And actually, North Carolina could be one of them. I don't remember. I'm just thinking in California terms. But I'm trying to figure out which one we should take without clipping a wing. I don't want to go all the way straight ahead there, so I guess we'll take the one next to this United. Yeah, I hope they have insurance, because somebody's about to lose a winglet. Not sure if it's going to be us or them or both. But they're losing it. So you have to think with this aircraft, the wingspan is quite a bit larger. If we were in a 7.3 or A320, we could probably get away with it, actually. Oh yeah, we're definitely clipping. good night. But most of these aircraft aren't supposed to be here anyway. I believe this terminal is pretty much it's mainly American. Pulling ahead. We don't have our 3D people guy either guiding us in. I wonder what happened with that. To make sure that's still okay. Alright, so we're parked. Put our parking brake on and we can
Park
turn
brake
the
on.
engines off. Already got the APU running. Also finished getting the lights off. Typically want to turn your taxi light, runway turn off lights off as you're pulling into the gate, but we'll get them off now. Like I said, APU's going. Get our fuel pumps. And with that, let's get back to the outside of the plane, where our cargo loaders are approaching the aircraft now with nobody driving them. These are the new ones that drive themselves. You know, 2020 innovations here. So alright everybody, thanks for watching. You guys take care. I'll see you next time.